footy world, no doubt, rocked by the front page story of The Age this morning, Herd injected drugs, which is an allegation that is being made by Stephen Dank, sports scientist who was formerly at the club. We need to clarify a few things. We're grateful for the time of the former head of ASADA, Richard Ings. Good morning to you, Richard.
Good morning, guys.
If James Herd, he denies this, if James Herd was injected with hexarelin, is hexarelin a banned substance?
Well, firstly, as you said, these are just allegations and they're strongly refuted by James. So let's just talk in generalities. These substances are banned under the World Anti-Doping Agency Code for players. If coaches are using such a banned substance, it is not banned under the World Anti-Doping Agency Code or the AFL anti-doping policy.
Okay, so no problem.
Well, the only problem potentially is one of a code of conduct issue. You know, would this be conduct that could impact on the integrity of the competition or bring the game into disrepute? But it's absolutely not an anti-doping issue.
But if the World Anti-Doping Agency says a substance is banned, does the Australian Sports Anti-Doping Agency automatically follow it? And if the WADA says it's not banned, can the Australian Anti-Doping Agency ban it?
But the issue is not whether it's banned. We agree that it's banned. The issue is that it's not illegal for a coach to take it.
Well, that's correct. And what ASADA, the Australian Sports Anti-Doping Authority, does under its Act of Parliament is to enforce the World Anti-Doping Agency Code. The WADA Code is the global standard, the global benchmark, and ASADA and all Australian sports must follow the World Anti-Doping Agency Code.
Righto, so we've clarified that James, on the face of it, James Herd is a coach and it doesn't matter whether he took a banned substance. Next question. It is said, he says that he injected the players both before and during last year's football season with an anti-obesity drug called AOD, anti-obesity drug 9604. Is that a banned substance?
Well, my understanding of that particular substance is it's not banned. But again, these substances are very, very technical and, this is scientists at 10 paces to work out whether they are banned or not. But my understanding is that is a product that is not on the banned list, but it's not approved for human consumption.
Okay, so what is the effect of a drug that's whilst not banned, is not approved? This so-called catch-all provision that says, listen, there are banned substances, plus there are ones that aren't approved, and if they haven't yet been approved, they should be considered banned as well. Is AOD 9604 one of those?
Well, from about 2012 onwards, there was a catch-all put into the WADA Code that said if you're taking something which is unknown, and it's untested, and it's untried, and it's not approved, then as a general category, it's banned. So it is absolutely possible from 2012 to 2013 that the drug we're talking about would fall within the parameters of the banned list in that catch-all category.
Okay, so what becomes important then is when in 2012 did that catch-all provision come in? Was it before or after the players were injected with it?
Absolutely. Look, at the end of the day, players should not be taking things that are not approved for human consumption. That's the first thing. That should just not be happening. Whether it's banned or not now becomes a matter for ASADA to look at what it was, when it was taken, and particularly how it was taken.
So if the Essendon players had been injected with AOD 9604 at a point after that catch-all provision was introduced, what faces them?
Well, then it would fall into the category of the use of a substance which is banned under the WADA Code,
right.
And the potential penalty for a player, not for a coach, but for a player, breaking the WADA Code can be up to a 2-year suspension from all competition.
What if the players say, I was told it was vitamin B?
Well, one of the interesting things about the WADA Code, a good thing about the WADA Code, is they do take into account questions of degree of fault. So if you as a player deliberately inject yourself, you can face up to a 2-year ban. But if you've been misled, if you've been lied to, if you've been told the wrong thing, there is scope for the ban to be significantly reduced to as little as a warning, depending on the facts.
So it can be, under the circumstances, even if you have taken a banned substance because you didn't know it was banned, you were told it was a Tim Tam, it can be reduced from the automatic 2 years down to 0.
Well, it can, but the thing that we need to think about there is that there's a very, very strict requirement in that area. These are professional athletes.
How strict?
Well, these guys are professional athletes, and they are given a lot of education that they're meant to ask what they're being taken. So if you're getting an injection in the stomach in a clinic across the road from the club, I don't think you can claim that I didn't really know what was going on. You've got some degree of fault, which may see you get a 6-month ban or even a 12-month ban, but you may not get 2 years.
Is there any sanction against the person who does the misleading, for example, the coach, or in fact a medical practitioner employed by the club?
Well, yeah, the World Anti-Doping Agency rules and the AFL rules impose penalties on players, but there's also a duty of care for what are called athletes, support personnel, coaches, trainers and medical staff, and indeed the penalties for breaching the WADA code for support staff are greater than for the athletes, the players themselves.
Richard, excellent. We thank you very much. And just reiterating, you're saying if they have taken something that's banned under this catch-all provision, unlikely to be reduced to as far as 0.
It's very, very unlikely, particularly if it's something that's not approved for human use. The players have to ask a question as to what's being injected into them, and they've got complete and ultimate responsibility, but the facts will impact on what the sanction may well be at the end of the day.
Good on you. Richard, great stuff. Thank you.